This conference will now be recorded.
We do, we record the meetings.
Yes. Let's see, okay. Can you hear us, Doug? Is our audio working?
I told Jen it was working.
Doug, you're muted.
No, Doug might not be, okay.
He usually stays muted till he has something to say.
Yeah. Okay, I think the time's 5:45. We have quorum, so we can officially start. So I am calling to order the November 10th, 2025 meeting of the Creative Economy Committee at 5:45 PM. Yay. So I called the meeting to order. We do have public speak and announcement, and I do see we have people joining us today. So we can also, if it's okay with the committee, we'll do a quick introduction. We'll go around and do a quick introduction during public speak section. Make sense? Yeah?
And then
Okay.
if you want to say
And
something.
then if you'd like to
You are the public,
introduce
you can
yourselves
speak.
and you're the public, and hi, hi, public. We're very serious now. My name is Sarah Maroney. I'm our co-chair of the Creative Economy Committee. Yeah.
Yeah, Louise Levy, member, leader of the Friends of Lake Wallace. Have you been to Lake Wallace?
We have.
Okay, good.
It's one of the places
Yeah.
on the field
Yeah.
where we walk around there.
Yeah.
I'm Lisa Stahl, I'm the cultural district manager.
Jen can't.
It should work.
Oh,
there
there
she
she
is.
is.
Okay. Jen is on. Yeah. Go around.
Oh,
Yeah, hi.
we're going in circles.
Yeah.
I'm Kayla Leslie, my husband, Brad Williams. We are the owners of a nonprofit that we started in the, 3 years ago. We started as a corporation and we transitioned into a nonprofit this year. So it's Kayla and Co. So we'll talk more about that in a little bit if you want.
Yeah.
Belchertown
Yeah,
Can
welcome.
you say the name of it again?
Kayla and Co. is the 501c3, KAYLA and CO.
And what was your last name again?
Bussy. BUSSE.
Thanks for joining us.
Of course, thanks for the invite.
I'm Cindy Harbison. I'm the clerk, and I'm the director of the library.
Did you say Cindy?
Cindy.
Cindy.
Cheryl Dutton, member.
I'm Jill. You know who I am. Historical Commission as well. And yeah, co-chair with Sarah. Yeah.
Nice. It looks like we have Doug Albertson, our town planner, on the line. And I believe that's Jen Turner, town select board member, on the line. I can do introductions for them.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you for joining us. So public speak and upcoming events, announcements, updates.
I met with Donnie over at Lake Wallace about installing the plaque for, because the heron sculpture, Harbinger, is installed. Harbinger, he brought the heron sculpture to the Lake Wallace Fall Fest and then installed it in what I think is kind of the perfect spot. So, so the plaque, I don't know if he put it up yet. We talked about 6 different ways that he could attach it to things. And it will wind up being up there at some point.
It's
Nice.
Yeah, and I also had a meeting with Kyle Tybalt of the rec department about what it will take to maintain the Lake Wallace Sensory Trail, especially since having built the trail the way it was, the town has basically set an expectation for the public that this is a trail that will be maintained for open access for all, including people on mobility devices and with balance and visual and you know open to everyone of all abilities, regardless of their abilities. It's good. It's a work in progress.
Nice. Any other events, announcements, updates outside the regular agenda?
Looks like December 13th, they're gonna do a winter party for
Okay.
kids over at Old Town Hall.
Oh,
So-
oh, similar to last year. I think
Yeah.
that was closer to New Year's, but okay.
Yep.
Nice.
We might do a menorah lighting, but I don't know if that's anything to do with you guys.
Okay.
Oh, that sounds like.
When
Cindy,
would
Cindy,
Yes.
can we have open flames at the library?
We do not have open flames in the library.
Yeah.
So no menorah
mean-
lighting at the library?
Look, is there a way? I was gonna.
Electric?
I know it's not the same, but
No. We'll do it at the rec then, maybe, if we do it.
you can have open. Well, you did
At
be.
skate
Did
park.
you?
I wasn't at the last one.
You weren't
but
at
they
that one.
did-
Yeah.
You did
You
it at the
did.
rec park,
Yeah.
at the rec department last
Yep.
time.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
did it at the rec department, but this was Jennifer Whitehead asked me if the library could do something for Hanukkah and then, anyways.
Think of a way to.
Well, there's also the pocket park.
A winter party.
No, too cold, dark. December 14th, we're talking about. It's gross.
Okay. For
It's
the
hot,
kids,
it's
for the
cold
kids.
and
So it's the rec department.
Who is the rec department is
That's
looking
what
at
it is.
hosting the winter party?
No, Jen Turner is looking at getting people to join me in my endeavor.
Okay,
To
gotcha.
light-
Two
light-
separate conversations.
to lighten
Gotcha.
the
Jen
fires.
Turner is handling Hanukkah.
Yes.
Yes.
The rec department has the registration for the winter party. I believe the person who is facilitating is an educator.
Laura
Awesome.
Bishop.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that is the rec department.
Oh, okay.
Got it. And then the other one
Registration through
is
the
Jen Turner, Take Two,
rec.
Hanukkah,
Hanukkah 2020.
2025. Got it.
All right,
Okay,
that's
thank you.
Jen, you're looking to just do like indoor, just the normal
Like
Hanukkah, you know?
So, yeah, so to make it like
Yeah.
really low pressure, like bring your own menorah and we'll have a community lighting. Like it's the first night of Hanukkah, so it's 2 candles on each menorah. It's not,
Okay, so I was gonna, yeah, okay. Yeah. Okay. That was the year Brian, I think, ended up driving to, I want to say Connecticut, I believe, to get goods for the first annual.
oh,
yeah.
right. You dropped off cookies. We did cookie decorating. We had dreidel and gelt and we paid for like latkes, but I don't think that was a good idea. Latkes don't transport.
No, the latkes didn't hold well either.
Cold
They were
latkes.
good, but they didn't hold well.
No, donuts are better.
Yeah. The donuts were, they were
Donuts are much better.
delicious.
Jen, have you been up to the Mill District in Amherst and seen Cinda's, the outdoor light is electric, obviously, menorah that they installed up there?
If it's like 6 feet tall, then, or 4 feet tall, no, but they're probably hella expensive. So, I mean, I don't have a budget for this unless we look for a grant, which there's a grant available I can get pretty easily, but I don't know that I want to invest in a town menorah.
Okay.
It was pretty ingenious, just made with PVC plumbing, you know, the plastic plumbing.
Yeah, a lot of
They did a
communities
really
do
good
that.
job.
If you guys want to, I mean, I'm not against it, but I don't have
Yeah.
No,
any.
it was just,
Here, yeah.
just asking what you're.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But, so you are planning to do something for Hanukkah, 14th again, and most likely it's going to be at the rec again,
I mean, maybe.
unless we can figure out around lighting menorahs in another location. Yes?
Yeah, I mean, I guess. Yeah, I gotta find, there's a group of people I gotta
Yeah.
get a thing going.
Okay.
All right.
Got it.
Do it at the fire department.
Do it at the fire department. I like it. Just do it at the fire department. Okay. Any other upcoming events, announcements, updates?
Kind of, and not really.
Okay.
So I don't know where is appropriate, but I think this is a good time, because then people can at least think about it and got some people on. I had the opportunity in my other role with the BDIC, but I spoke with the Buxtons today about making their willingness to make their sheds into a Christmas village.
Oh, yeah?
And they said that they're very excited about it. They would love to do it. And, but they need permission. They need to find out what's required of them by their landlord,
Okay.
which is Yellow Brick Road,
And are you talking about the sheds that are always sitting,
right at the bridge.
so they would stay right there and
Stay-
just be opened for use for artisans during the season, the extended season?
Yes, like Thanksgiving to Christmas. And this is a kind of a proof of concept.
Yep.
Because hopefully
What do they
we'll
call
get them to
shed
move
works?
over to the state school property and permanently display their thing,
Yeah.
sheds there so we can use them permanently for outdoor.
That would be nice.
Yeah,
That would be really great.
Things.
there's
Yes.
shed works.
Yeah, shed works.
We always call it Sheds R Us, but you know, next to Checkers
Yeah,
Yeah,
and right there. So they're looking into it, finding out. They are excited about it.
okay.
And it could be, but that'll be me putting out like an SOS scrambling to get interested artisans who want to do it. We were talking about doing it like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah.
You know, not
Yeah, not
all the
all
time.
season,
Could end
but
up being Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, but whatever. But just from like the small business Saturday, so that's
Yep.
the Saturday after Thanksgiving on. So they're gonna see they do have electricity down there, so
Okay.
we could string all the little white lights
Yeah.
and really make it super visible. And, but that may lead me, like I said, putting out an SOS to everybody.
Yeah.
To find artisans who wanna occupy a shed for 3 or 4 weeks.
I can look up, we did some research on this a while back when we were looking at different models for Gather. I'll see if I can pull that and send it, like, just send it over, because it had some models of like how to, just like the logistics side of it too. Yeah. Oh, that would be awesome if they
That
let us
sounds
do
amazing.
that. That would be
Well,
really
it'd be
cool.
more awesome if we prove the concept.
Yeah.
And it ends up in thing, and we can hopefully have them do things out of a different
Do you-
location that is more,
Are you still part of QAA? Are you still part of Quabbin Arts Association? Were you?
no,
Are
I
you?
never was.
You never were? Oh, I thought you were. Okay.
No.
All right. I always try to think about how to get them to involved in things like this.
We can certainly get them
But-
involved.
But we have a
now
lot
that
of
they're-
artisans. We have a
Now, that
lot
is
of
what I'm doing,
makers.
they may be.
Or
more
farmers.
willing to.
Mm.
They were really,
I wonder if the
like,
farmer's
at
market
first.
would be, I wonder if Brittany would be interested in helping with something.
well,
From farmers
exactly,
market.
I'm gonna get,
Yeah, get the
Get the
info. I'm getting
okay.
ahead of it. Okay.
right, and then if
Yeah.
proof of concept on this small scale.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then working in my other capacity about getting them
Okay.
a place that suits their needs and ours.
Yeah.
Much
So that'd
better
be
as
great if we
far
could get them
as-
actually to bring a warehouse section out here, but they have it in Ware, I think, Ware or Palmer right now.
Palmer.
Yeah.
I-
Okay.
I wholeheartedly approve this message and would love to assist in any way possible.
Yes. This has been trying to get something like this forever.
Oh, really? Because it was
Yeah.
a snack for me. I just did it in 5 minutes, you know?
Oh, and one more thing that came up since our last meeting was, I think, was the Quabbin Days.
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I was just only part of the very beginning of it, when Cindy, you and I were there. Did you go to any of the other events?
Just the one that was at the library.
Oh, at the library, that's right, at the library, so, so it seems like that's gonna be a yearly
Yeah,
thing.
that's great. That'll be great. That
Celebrating
was
the
really
entire
good.
area and drawing.
Yeah.
Drawing people out, and I'm pretty sure it was Aaron Saunders who had made a reference to this idea of just how much Western Massachusetts contributes to the Massachusetts economy, and that it's a goal of his and some of the other representatives to get the interests of Western Mass into
Yeah.
the State House and say, hey,
Yeah.
you know, pay attention.
Yeah.
And maybe get a better funding for them.
Mhm.
I thought of 2 more November events.
Okay.
BUCC is hosting a Vivaldi versus Mozart candlelight concert
Oh, I saw that.
on November
Yeah.
21st. And it's done by an outside party, so I don't know how
Yeah,
much
but-
we can, it's Loomis.
Oh, I think it's sold out though.
Yeah.
I think so. I think
Yeah.
it sold out really
That
quick.
looked really cool.
I went to the one,
Yeah,
well, you
we
were,
were there.
we were there, same night, didn't know it, but we were
Yeah.
there.
How was it?
The one in
It's
Amherst was
beautiful.
awesome.
Yeah,
I'm
It was-
going to the one in Belchertown.
okay.
Nice.
This one was Coldplay versus Imagine Dragons, so a little bit different than Vivaldi and Mozart, but
Oh, that's super fun.
So you being the younger generation, myself being a little bit more experienced, we went to the 6 o'clock show,
Yeah,
which
that
was Spooky Halloween.
Also super fun.
Really fun, really
Also-
fun.
Orchestra playing
Nice.
spooky music.
spooky, yeah.
That's-
Quartet.
That's
Spooky
awesome.
Halloween. It was a
Quartet.
quartet,
Oh, if
yeah,
it's
it was-
successful,
they were
hopefully they'll do
great.
more.
They were great.
Yeah. That would be really great to get that established in town if it's success.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's sold out, it's successful. Awesome.
And then Winter Light Night is
Yeah.
the 29th.
I had that on my list to talk because Molly isn't able to be here. I know the BCC is asking for volunteers for Winter Light Night right now. So if you have capacity, spread the word around for BCC. It's always an amazing event annually, and it runs off of volunteers, as most of our events do. So,
There's also the Victorian Christmas
Oh, yeah, with the stone house.
Stone House. I think it's in November.
okay.
There's like.
It's
November-
3 days.
3 days.
3 days.
November, it starts in November.
Towards at 6, 7, and 8. But I have been trying to get in touch with someone at the Stone House to
Yeah.
get them to submit
Who would
that
you like?
event.
Who would you like?
Whoever.
I can
I-
forward you the press release if you'd like.
No, it's just for, part of what we're trying to do with these events and promoting them is have them go through the town. There's an event submission link.
Okay,
And when people submit events to this link, it goes to me, it goes to Kate, it goes to Esther at
Oh,
BCT,
okay.
it goes to Abby in the select board's office. Abby, we have a whole system. It goes onto the town calendar, and then like I can add it into my weekly and weekend events. I have a whole post going up about this event at the Stone House. Like, we need the full coordination piece. So if whomever, I emailed the email address on the Stone House website and I haven't heard back.
you probably won't.
Yeah, you know.
So,
You gotta contact Cliff, Allegra, or Sally.
I will
Thank you.
sit here with you and connect you to Sally.
Yeah.
thank you.
Sally.
Sally,
Okay.
yeah,
She
and
does all
she does all the work. She does all the work. And, yeah, that would be, but, so you're just looking for something going forward and stuff, because Karen would make a great quotes interview.
Yeah.
That's the woman in
Yeah, right.
the tire, she,
Interview for what? For the town?
you know, for even the press release, having good quotes
Yeah.
about what she's
Well,
doing and
that's
trying.
Kate's department.
So,
We're just
but I can
trying to
connect her
get
with
the
Kate,
information
too.
from point A to point B.
Yep.
Yeah, they could use all the help they can get.
Yeah, right, getting the
For
information
the
out.
press release.
Yeah.
So as soon as we get that information too, and then it's on our radar, we can.
There was a time,
coordinate.
there was a time we had a dozen active board members.
I've heard about these times, yeah.
All right. So we good with upcoming events, announcements and updates? Beautiful. If anything else pops up, we can sneak it in. Approval of October meeting minutes. Can anyone make a motion to approve?
When were they gonna do public speak?
We did.
Oh, if we, yeah, we can, thank you. Yeah, so public,
I
sorry,
thought
thank
you
you,
had-
Cheryl. Yes, public speak. No, yes, no, now would be a good time to do public speak. Thank you. This is not, this is how this goes. So, yes. But we introduced each other, so we were done, right? Yes, hi, how are you? Welcome to the meeting.
Thank you, Jill, for inviting us
Yeah.
here. We moved to Belchertown almost 2 years ago, I think 2 years in January, from Arizona.
Yeah.
So huge change in the
Mhm.
weather and temperature and lifestyle. But we moved here because, or Belchertown specifically, because the right to farm.
Yeah.
Town, small
Radically
town,
rural.
the radically rural. I grew up in a dairy farm in Wisconsin. I wanted my kids to grow up in that same small town, little tight-knit community to have those lifelong friends and experiences. So we chose Belchertown specifically for those things. We both work in education, decades and decades of education. And we started an organization in end of 2001, 2002 called Kayla & Co., which was an organization that was offering opportunities to children with exceptionalities that they wouldn't typically get in a classroom environment. So we have two of our own children with very significant special needs. And so offering programs to kids that don't typically get adequate access in a traditional classroom. Over the years, it's kind of transitioned in our account. We kind of told us we'd be able to have a lot more, or provide a lot more opportunity transitioning to a nonprofit organization, which was a lot harder than we had anticipated it being. So we just started over and we started a nonprofit that was established this year. But it's Kayla & Co. So we are a registered 501c3 organization. We're established here in Belchertown, which is where we're hoping to expand eventually as we get more people involved in our program. But we have our mission to offer inclusive, therapeutic, and educational hands-on experiences to children and adults with exceptionalities. Exceptionalities we define incredibly loosely. It could be a cognitive disability, it could be a financial disadvantage, it could be something physical, it could be something emotional, whatever that exceptionality is, we're here to offer services for them. And so our board is made up of myself, who spent, my entire career in education. We have a licensed social worker who works for DCF on our board. We have a CPA on our board to have kind of all our bases covered. And we're starting small, so we have 2 locations, ours in Belchertown right here, where we work through hands-on animal care. And so using animals to teach life skills to children, whether that be emotional regulation, whether that be something as simple as just following a simple daily routine, whether that be something as simple as math skills that might be hard for children. So we have kids with exceptionalities and their families sign up, so they get one-on-one interactions or small group interactions. So it's their parents are welcome, their kids are welcome. If their parents want them to work with social interactions, we typically have 2 or 3 families that are welcome to come together. We set those systems up for them and work on those social interactions and social skills. But we do it through animal care and husbandry. And so we're starting small now and hoping to expand out as we get more traction within the community. We actually went to Jill's school. So we met Jill through just friends.
I say friends and then.
Local families. And kind of we're talking about what we were doing, and she invited us to come into her classroom in Holyoke with her students who have a diverse set of needs. So we brought some ducks and some chickens in, and we talked about the difference for her class was plant power.
Yep.
So we talked about how the use of animals isn't just for eggs or for meat, but that, duck water could be used as a fertilizer for plants. And we talked about the components of nitrogen and phosphorus, how that compares to the store-bought fertilizer. We did a lot of the math concepts there for them. And then they designed their greenhouses, and we came back and we were invited back to see their final products. We helped them walk through that presentation. It's really hard to get up in front of her group and do public speaking. So we just sort of helped work through that process through our questioning and through our structure. And then we awarded their class a $500 grant from our organization so that they could purchase or collectively work together to come up with one classroom design and purchase the materials that they would need to build that greenhouse, or Jill has a greenhouse at her campus to add to the greenhouse that was there. So they could have that hands-on experience through that agriculture.
Yeah.
And so, do you have any questions, or you want to add anything about?
The beauty of it is for a lot of students that struggle in a traditional environment, the introduction of especially things like poultry and small scale animal work gives students who traditionally wouldn't have the attention span or desire or have learned to function in that environment to take more in. And if by proxy we can help with the goals that are already in place for their family socially or school IEP goals, but most importantly for us, it's the idea that the transition to the nonprofit is so that every aspect of the organization can re-enrich the community. And so whether that's not a farm stand that sells, but it's a take what you can system where the eggs that are being provided, that are being used, are just freely available to any family that is in need. We all know about current situations in politics where every little bit helps. But it also provides the opportunity for families who, if students work through the program, they have the opportunity to take a small scale set of chickens, a breeder box, and be able to start their own small flock at their house, having learned how. For many of these students, it's the first time they've ever had the opportunity to take that responsibility. And it teaches students how, under a radically rural philosophy, we can provide for ourselves and for our community, even if we're someone that traditionally isn't looked upon as someone who would do that. And so we speak very passionately about it, but we're excited to be here in Belchertown, and though it might not directly tie to the committee, we appreciate at least being able to introduce ourselves and learn about what the committee does and how maybe the two organizations could interact into the future. But we do appreciate at least being given the opportunity to speak.
Yeah, we love to do, again, volunteer work. So everything we do with our nonprofit is, like Bradley was saying, completely free of charge for any family that wants to participate. It's on a sign-up basis, only to keep small scale, because with exceptionalities, we don't want to overwhelm anybody. But we can have up to like 10 families every, school week. Now with it getting darker, probably fewer every afternoon. But to come in and work with the animals, we have a 26-week curriculum that we work through. We have a faith-based track, so families who want it rooted in their faith or their religion can come in and we can tie it either to a Bible verse or something that they value in their family. For sustainability, animal care, personal care, we have a secular track where families who don't want any sort of, religious overtones there as well. So everything we do, like Bradley's saying, is donation based. And so all our families that come, their kids are able to collect eggs, take them home with them for their family. We have opportunities for kids to utilize the eggs in ways such as baking or cooking with them. So some of our lessons are how you take the eggs and how the animals produce food, and you can bake for your community, whether they want to sell those, take them home, they go home with the recipe, the food for their family, bunch of different systems that we use. We have a grant that I've applied for, but if we were to be awarded, we won't find out till April, we're gonna get about $250,000 with this grant. And our intention is that individuals who typically struggle to find work in their local community would be able to come work with us. We would train them. And then one of the volunteers, whether it be myself, Bradley, our social worker, would go out with them and we want to partner with local community farms, local stands, local dairy shops, ice cream shops. And we want to train individuals to do the support on these farms or the support in these shops. And one of us would go and we help them with the on-site training, but this grant would allow us to pay them for their job. And so other organizations would partner with us. We would pay these employees through this grant, who would allow them the opportunity to take the skills that they've learned on our farm, whether it be mathematical skills, social skills, reading skills, animal care skills, be able to provide to their community where they feel like they're doing something for the people around them and they're not just sitting around feeling like I can't do things, because there'll be someone there to support them the whole time. And so we're hoping, fingers crossed, we can get that grant and we can start integrating some of this support into the community.
Just to put a fine point on it, I know we won't speak all night, but a specific example that would be like Barking Bubbles down the road is looking at expanding and creating a doggy daycare.
Yeah.
We were talking to the owner about how, it's great as a small business to expand, but payroll is hard for anyone. And so, but she's gonna have a need for kids or people to just care for the animals during the day. It doesn't need to be highly skilled, doesn't need to be certified, but she may only be able to hire 1 or 2 people. But with our organization and a grant working through, she can hire 4 or 5, if 2 or 3 of them are people with specific disabilities, and our organization can help offset the cost for her business through the grants. And that then again is that creative economy for Belchertown. The reality, the harsh reality of it, and Jill, you know more than most, is that kids with exceptionalities are often who we say we're helping, but the line items in most budgets don't match. And so the reality is that there are federal dollars that have to be spent supporting students with exceptionalities, but there are a lot of big school districts that tossing extra money toward those populations, it doesn't reach the same ears that maybe helping sports and music does. And so having that opportunity to provide something that educationally supports, much like, it broke our heart to go to Jill's school and hear from the principal that a $500 donation was unheard of for the school up until that point. To us, it doesn't feel like a big deal, but to that school.
And those students and the thank you letters we got, like I had goosebumps and I was in tears, like that was the greatest thing you could have done for us. Like we can't wait to actually build. Here's my idea of how we can spend that money. Someone else said this idea, so we're gonna have to really come to an agreement of how we're gonna spend this money. But they're really excited to be able to have that real world experience.
So it's just for the population, we feel like you have to get a little bit creative for it to help, right? And so that's why Jill thought us coming and just listening. But thank you for letting us at least introduce. Do you have any questions or comments?
So many, but I know. Yeah, no, thank you. Thank you very much for coming. I mean, this is.
Do you
we're
have
connected
cards or
today, yeah.
something you could leave with
Yeah.
us?
We can leave the contact information.
Or even
Yeah.
a handout?
No, absolutely. I have a question. Are you, you're based in Belchertown, but are you then across Pioneer Valley into Connecticut? What's your?
So
region
in Ware, we have another location, one of our board members is in Ware, she's a social worker, she has, larger animals. So she has small
Nice.
cows and goats. We don't have the space here in Belchertown to do the larger animals at the moment. And then we've extended down into partnerships with, Housatonic Valley High School in Region 1 in northwestern Connecticut.
Okay.
The head of the agriculture department there is the president of the agriculture teaching for all of Connecticut, and he's worked with us and we did coaching in his room, so we're working
It's
together.
beyond Pioneer Valley.
It's beyond, and then we have opportunities coming from, we have a principal in Arizona who's retiring this year that has land in Montana that she's looking at trying to open a location, and then some that are more urban farming in Arizona where it's more of a downtown urban farming, right? It's the little quarter-acre lots with cement walls. It's very different than here. So it's a slightly different setup. But our goal is anywhere where someone has the desire to provide support, especially that's connected to a rural philosophy.
That's self-sustaining
that's where we're
ability, those life skills that you can grow your own food, you can self-sustain, you can provide for your community through acts of service.
Is there a model for what you guys?
There's a couple different ones actually,
Anyway,
so.
I could go on and on.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
Story idea.
Yeah, so I'm sure you'll end up, definitely, contact info would be great.
Yeah. And so, so I'll just like some contact information.
Great, thank you. Yeah, thank you.
If you're interested in, like designing an activity that would utilize, Lake
That's
Wallace.
my thought, yeah.
You know, where you'd bring the kids to Lake Wallace in the
Yeah.
springtime to tie in water quality.
Yeah.
You know, I'd be happy to run
Yeah.
a session, you
I
know.
would love to do something like
Yeah,
that.
that'd
So that's definitely me working with Jill's students and talking through their greenhouse presentation. They're like, oh, we're gonna put it right here on the Connecticut River and talking about water quality and what you need. That would be amazing. I would love to do that.
Yeah, I think that would be the big connection with this committee is kind of because we're really tie-ins and we have a lot of different avenues that we go.
That is what Jill
So,
was saying.
and
She's
that's,
like, these
and
are
so
people
now
who
we
need to
can
speak that
get
have
your
ideas.
kind of have your information and definitely include, thank you for sharing what you do, because I think it would 100% tie into a lot of different aspects that we do.
Yeah, and anything we can do to volunteer.
in the
support.
community.
I've done a couple big,
Do you want to share a
events.
board by any chance? No. Too soon? Too soon? Yes, yes.
Appropriate to make a public comment about the sheds you were talking about, just
Yeah,
was there another
artesian
time
sheds.
later?
Done.
If the sheds were just talking about a possibility, if you had a public comment about the sheds, absolutely, we can put that right on there.
I was
Yeah.
thinking, there's especially since you're thinking proof of concept, right? So sales is gonna be the most important for the
Yeah.
artisans that are coming. There's always a subsection of people who go to spend money. And then there's a subsection of people that go and look at artisan products and think, those are cool, but I don't want them for myself.
Mhm.
And in order to increase the sales side, something maybe to consider, and we do like to volunteer to help anyone else too, is one of the sheds was kind of like if you envision the tiny libraries, the buy a book, take a book.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
it's, you know, I see there's a really cool artisan product here. I personally don't want it, but I know someone would. And being able to buy from one shed and have something that's run where, you know, someone in town could say, look, I'm not gonna be able to afford this, but I'd love to be able to. I know I would buy 3 or 4 things just to donate for a family to be able to come in and say, I can't afford to buy these products, but I would love them in my home.
I love
I
that
get the
idea.
benefit of spending for the artisans and getting to donate like a Christmas angel tree.
It's just
Someone
more
else
like
can
a
come and
Christmas
say,
angel
"Look, I may
tree
not-
concept for
I may
local
not be able to
artisans.
afford, but it's a great opportunity. And of course, there's all kinds of logistics that would go into who and how many. But as something to think about, if there's space, it might bring more people in and just something to think about.
Especially with the current economy too, like people worried about Christmas shopping and things like that.
I love that.
Having a space where they can go and say, you know, this nice gift I can give my mother and have that.
Absolutely love that. Yeah. Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you very much for sharing. And yes, please do leave your contact. And I mean, you're always welcome to any meeting. Everybody's, we're here. We like it when people come to visit us. Yeah. And I mean, I believe we do have one open slot saying.
There's an open slot on the board. Yeah, on the video.
I'm still working on our website, like to have more of an active, but I have Facebook and Instagram all the time. Okay, perfect.
Thank you. All right, so now for real, we're gonna move on to the October meeting minutes. Could we have a motion to approve?
I make a motion to accept the minutes of the October 20th meeting as written.
Okay,
Second.
thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Any abstain? Beautiful. October meeting minutes have been approved. I'll get those sent in to get posted on the website. I think I'm only one behind right now. I think we just need to get the September one that didn't happen in the October. All right, so we'll go into the action items. I got a couple quick grant updates. So we do have a new grant manager. The town hired Don Cody as our new grant manager. Yay! It's not on right now, but Dawn will, sending the schedule. I'm gonna set up some time to chat with Dawn, and I know she's getting whirlwind acclimated to the town and all the wonderful grants that we do and everything that is around that. So Dawn will, I'll talk with her and have her hopefully come to either the next meeting, but have Dawn come and introduce herself then so we can all get to know her since we will be partnering a lot. On the thing of grants, really exciting. So we received $6,000 to the Massachusetts Office of Tourism and Travel and Tourism grant for wayfinding, some wayfinding and kiosk at Lake Wallace. Yay! The fun part. So that is a matching grant. So we'll have a 6,000 match, which we're going to be meeting this week to start actually talking about it. That was one that was put in right towards the end of mods. We started it and then I got it in right at the end of that. That's really exciting. It's going to provide some wayfinding signage within that is from the big wayfinding project around the Lake Wallace area. So we have a couple signs there for directional that'll showcase, make that area a little bit more visible. And then a kiosk, a real kiosk that there was a standard design that Mod shared with us that was put in with the grant. Super affordable, and we're going to start working with that, which will be really exciting. The second really exciting one is we also got the $30,000 MDI grant for the downtown business marketing plan. Super, yay! Woo. So that was the one that we as a committee had talked about beforehand to really push for the town to go. So we got it. That also has the initial first meeting coming up. I believe that's the one this week, not the Mott one. Mott one will be Sunday. We'll schedule that one, but the MDI one is this week. And that one, we really pushed this one on the writing, ended up really focusing on looking at our downtown area. And we structured it, I believe, I'll have to look at the map again, but I think we even brought it down the street a little bit, similar to what the cultural district would be. And it's really helping, it will be primarily helping our downtown businesses in a marketing plan, really, for our downtown region. And also we snuck in some language in there to also take best practices towards tourism. So really tourism that fits Belchertown, not like when we think tourism, we're like, oh no, but like responsible tourism in Belchertown. So that's super exciting. That's going to be working with Doug. And I know that if there is another committee member that wants to be kind of deeper dive in that, I know I'm going to be on a lot of those calls. Is there anyone who's here right now that would also like to be in the deeper dive kind of meetings about that? There'll be participation in the meeting as a whole, but we'll have to, similar as we've done with other projects, we're going to also have to have like side meetings and everything as well. So, and I'm going to ask too for Lauren and Molly who are not here today, but is there anyone in the room right now that wants to be or has the capacity to be on the deeper dive calls, or more just has the capacity to be here participating.
Farther
Don't all
down-
raise your
farther
hands
down
at
the
once.
street
Yeah.
Includes
202, like 202.
I
corridor.
believe, I have to double check the map, but I think we did the cultural district downtown, which is our town center, and then towards the main road area,
Yeah.
down that way towards the courthouse. It's not too far. It's what the maps, I just need to double check, but it's kind of what the maps were from the cultural
so it's
district setup.
Jessica's and Lake
I
Wallace.
don't know if it goes
footprint?
that far. I have to double check the map because we had to do it where the businesses were right now. So let me double check. I don't want to quote the wrong information. Yeah. But we'll be finding that and we'll be meeting with getting the full scope. Doug is on that call. I believe it's this week that there'll be the call to go through the full scope and everything.
Well, obviously,
Yeah.
I mean, the reason I'm
Yeah.
asking
Yep.
is that district, as far as business is concerned,
Yep.
will hopefully include the entire state school campus with businesses.
Yeah, let me look because I know originally the cultural district is that whole kind of
Right.
space. I just have to confirm if we had to narrow it down. But
I
all
wasn't
of this
sure if
is,
it dipped in
yeah,
because of the
yeah.
plans for six.
I just
for
have to
six
look, I just
Berkshire
need to look,
and
but really it's, what this will do is really give us that guideline that then will work for all of
The
the
next
connecting
phase,
areas.
right.
So this isn't like one-on-one, you're not, the businesses aren't getting, like, it's not like a one-on-one sit down, here's your personal, it's a plan for what's included in this that then also will be expanded outside of that once we have it. It'll be easy to expand and work for the surrounding space, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's really exciting though, because we desperately need it and it will be great for the town. And work with what we do here, being able to also take that and relate it to our artisans, relate it to all those trickle down effect from that marketing plan. So that's really exciting. Grants, I'll ask Lauren and Molly if either of them want to be on the deep dive. I know I will be on a lot of those. Lisa may be on some, we'll see. Lisa's like, we'll see. And I know Dawn, I believe, is going to be on those as the grant manager in town as well. All right. I have Radically Rural debrief on here. I know for time purposes, I might, unless anyone is like, I really want to talk about this right now for timing purposes. I'm gonna go because I left my other thing, but what I will say about Radically Rural is what I want to do in town, and I would love to know if this committee, we've talked about this a little before. I don't see Jen's name on here anymore, but so she loses out on this. I know Jen really wants to look at kind of gathering us when the quieter months are happening in like January, February, quieter months, to do more of a summit kind of with bringing some of the info that we learned at Radically Rural for the different people that have attended throughout the past 2 years, bringing in some of the techniques and information and kind of doing a little bit of a summit in that sense that fits with Belchertown. So Radically Rural this year was really focused on sense of place and finding your place. And there were a lot of really interesting aspects of it that I attended. I know Charlotte from the library Charlotte. I always go Charlotte Cassidy, always. Fairy Charlotte forever in our household. She's always, they're always Fairy Charlotte to us now.
Mm-hmm.
So one that I attended with them was really analyzing your town and where it's meeting on kind of where you're reaching the community on different aspects, whether it's planning, engagement, going through placemaking and kind of grading where you are and finding where your gaps are. So stuff like that I think would be really neat to bring to town. There was also a lot of emphasis on storytelling and storytelling about your community. And it was really big togetherness. There was one that we all sat in the room and we just like hummed together for 2 minutes, and it was crazy how cool that felt. Like at first you're like, this feels a little weird, I'm humming with a bunch of other people, but then you started and you went, whoa. So that's what it feels like to all be kind of together working. So for my Radically Rural debrief for that is I would like to kind of, and I know Jen, I was hoping Jen would still be on when we got here, but I think it would be really neat, and this will connect with one of our next projects. I want to kind of see that. I think it'd be neat if we were part of helping to, in those quiet months before we get crazy again, to help do kind of a participate in kind of a summity style discussion with other town groups, taking lessons that have been learned for what we see in those practices and kind of translating them to town. Okay.
Yeah.
Are there any thoughts around, I know they're around that,
It's a little bit of a ways away. And it's hard to really fully.
Oh, Jen popped back.
Oh, did Jen pop back on? Oh,
What are we
Jen, I was-
talking about? I'm sorry.
It's like you heard, I was just talking about your summit idea, because I was
Oh,
briefly
yeah.
saying that it's all about gathering and storytelling place, and how in the quiet months like January and February, probably February,
Yeah.
really great for CEC to also be part of looking at this summit idea that you had, taking some of those radically rural pieces and bringing them to town.
Yes.
Thank
That's
you
what
for
I
your-
want to do in February. I want to open it up to the public, but I want to invite all of these people who keep saying they're interested in helping us do stuff, but then they don't know how to hook in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was there any sort of takeaway this time, like the quilt from last year?
So I really want to pull together a comprehensive strategy about how we're going to build this public-private partnership, because we desperately need one. And that was the model we were trying to follow with BCA. So whether or not we resurrect the BCA or find some folks to engage with that organization and change the mission to be more in alignment with the stuff that we're doing. That's sort of the concept, because we lost funding for Maud's position, and Lisa's position is only good. We only have funding through June 30th. So what happens next, right? Like, where does this work go? How does it continue? And a lot of the grant opportunities are not available to the municipality anyway. So having some sort of public-private partnership. I don't know if Sarah mentioned we're going to this Western Mass Economic Summit
No.
on Friday. And that's a huge gap. And I've already pointed that out to these arts advocacy people that, like, there's nothing in the municipality. There are things. So I'm being a little bit like glossing over, because I know the MCC put together like a resource toolkit for municipalities, and they did try to do some work, but a lot of their programs, municipality can't apply. So you need to build in that capacity with a private organization, and we just don't have one catch-all group right now to do that work. We have a lot of like friends of groups that are doing the work independently. Anyways, so that's the big, hairy, audacious goal there, to munch around and try to figure out a solution. And who better to ask for a solution than more volunteers in our community?
There was no key piece that came back. We did get a Belchertown shout out for the radically rural quilt from last year. We did get a Belchertown shout out on the main stage, which was really fun. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. But there wasn't a piece that you brought back this year like that.
Okay.
Yeah. So the radically rural quilt is still traveling too, as well. So we're still going all over. That little Belchertown tag is still on there.
Yeah.
But I think the takeaway for me is the storytelling, the connectiveness, the togetherness. That really was one of the big takeaways of how to translate that here. How to translate that here in the form of a summit, of everyone coming together to see how that moves forward. Okay. I do think that somebody every year should go to Radically Rural, though. I do. It was highly valuable. If you are interested in this world at all, it was highly valuable. I know for me as a planner, it was also valuable on my planning side. I got to do a Brownsfield walk and see what they did for some land that was previously a Brownsfield. So it had contaminants underground, and what they rebuilt on that, doing municipal private partnerships and nonprofit. It was all three. It was the golden trio there. And then I also attended a few different seminars about placemaking on your streets. So kind of looking at how to make your streets more friendly, where you're putting barriers in, where you're putting in spaces, which I know isn't what we do necessarily here, but it was really cool to hear that.
It seems like that would be an awesome thing for
Yeah.
that other committee.
Yeah, I really think that multiple people from town should go every year.
Yeah.
You don't have to go for all 3 days. If I can swing it through work, I will be begging my work to let me go every year now, because it was so amazing. They highlighted, that was the other takeaway real quick. I know I said I wasn't going to talk too much about it, but I left my notebook, so now it's all coming back. Libraries. They had a whole morning focused on the absolute fact that libraries are the center of our communities, and that libraries can also act as economic incubators, which I thought was so cool. So there were a couple talks about libraries who also now have incubation hubs attached to the libraries that people can come in and they have some STEM equipment. They have like a printer, a 3D printer, they have like a screen printer. And it was like this really cool space that makers and other people could utilize as needed, not to supplement their income, but as needed to test out equipment or to like do activities and programs. And they also had a library that housed the town's makerspace, in a sense of also the town's how we talk about Gather, like a very small version of Gather was also housed and controlled by the library, which I thought was really cool. They had a satellite location that did that, and I was like, oh wow, that's amazing, like that is so cool. And it was this, again, partnership between municipal, community, kind of private and nonprofit entities. It just, those three just go through, they just meld together. But that was really cool.
Is there any of it recorded that you know?
I'll have to look. Last year, I think they did post a few of the recordings. If you go to their website, they end up, I don't know if it's up yet, but they do a recap. They put a recap on. I think they were filming at least their opening speeches, which were really powerful. The keynote speakers, those were really amazing to listen to. But if you look on their website, I think they might at least post the keynote speakers from every year. Yeah, but I cannot recommend it enough to at least look it up every year. And it's a pay as you can. So it's not like a crazy expensive conference. It's literally a pay as you can. Yeah, and no questions asked, which is really neat about it. Yeah. So Radically Rural, I think continuing to discuss with Jen and everybody is how we fit into like a summary and helping future look at that partnership with our artisans and like what we've been doing with those pieces. Okay. Cultural manager.
So just following up on conversation points from October, had a follow-up meeting after our UMass meeting with Steve, Lisa, Jen, and Abby to debrief how things went and ID some of our next steps. And really the main focus is going to be on continuing to network and build up our relationships. One of the specific asks that the chancellor had asked me to do was to make a connection with the arts and culture sector at UMass and see how we could kind of collaborate and work together and utilize each other. So I reached out to Tony Maroulis, and he is going to help connect us with the proper channels. I did narrow the scope a little bit for him and just really, I gave him a list of ideas that we talked about, things that have come up in conversation, just so he kind of knew, and this is obviously such a huge campus, but where we were kind of going with this conversation. Another interesting piece through conversations with Jen and Sarah about that was looking at potential maybe internship opportunities for students. So we'll see, where that goes in the future. And as we were listening to about the 501c3 and the work that they're doing and bringing that into the community, that was kind of making that connection about students and internships and income placements and even, things like that. So we'll see where that goes in the future. Boys and Girls Club surveys are still out. They just went out on Friday for the high school and 7th and 8th graders. Waiting for those results to come in, and then we'll figure out next steps. FIFA update. Kyle and I sat in on a listening session that we were invited to about grant funding that's coming down through FEMA. But it really didn't seem to apply so much to smaller communities. And since we haven't been specifically identified yet as a community that might be hosting some form of event, but it was really interesting to sit in and listen. And it was a lot about the safety protocols that the host cities are going to have to go through. And this is their way of helping communities fund needed safety measures. You okay over there?
Sorry.
We have a follow-up meeting as a small working group next week, and we're going to work on creating a pitch to bring to FIFA about hosting their road show, which is basically the event that they come into your community, they're here for, a chunk of time, they bring everything. It's I don't want to say a low live for a community, but I think it's the best option for us if we are identified. There's only one other community in Western Mass, Springfield, that has expressed interest. So we'll see. Could be two very different experiences from what Springfield has on a much larger level. And then for us, I feel like a grassroots, is what they're calling it.
Yeah.
The grassroots roadshow would be really ideal for us. So we'll see where it goes. Again, you shoot your shot and see what happens, right?
Yep.
What is next? Oh, so I mentioned it earlier about the event submission form. I can't emphasize enough that if you hear of things happening, to please refer people to use this form. If you need it, I can send it to you. I can send it to anybody. And it is really just the best way about getting information out to the community. It goes right onto the town website. PCTV might pick it up. Kate might write a press release. I'm gonna put it on the Creative Economy social media page. What I'm working on right now, I put the first one out on Halloween, which felt really bad. Was the Belchertown holiday experiences for 2025, because the first events were November 1st. So
Yeah, I love it.
and I even I put holiday music with it. I was like, this just doesn't feel right, but it happened and it was fine. So I put the first ones out for November. I'm working on December. If anything else comes up in November, I'd love to hear about it. I do have Stonehouse in there. I have a special one that I made just for Stonehouse because they do have multiple events recurring at different times. So I wanted to give them their own special shout out. That's going out. The other thing that I'm working on is Maud had made a list basically of the creative economy accomplishments from 2025. It's really substantial. So I've been going through it. I don't know if we have copies for everyone or if they should be emailed, but you could let me know and I'm more than happy to send it, or I could send it. But it's really impressive for a group of volunteers. You guys, we have really accomplished quite a bit and brought a lot of experiences and opportunities into the community. So it was really great to see. Part of that though is I am putting everything together in a hopefully digestible social media post. Putting together a graphic, and I'm also going to turn it into a PDF so we can have it to distribute if we needed to as well. And that is where I'm at in November. Also, last time we met too, I talked about how my contract is up in December, but there is money to continue my contract through June. So I will be here through June 30th, and then we will see.
Yeah, she said it on live meeting. She can't be here through June 30th.
Sweating now. Oh, yes.
I don't know if you've edited this, but I had one I printed from last week, so.
I had put notes in it. But
So this might not be fully up to date, but this is what I printed last week of just kind of a snapshot mod. It started for our 2025 year end. I think that's what you're talking about, right? The year end report.
Yeah.
Yeah, this has most of it.
That's in small font.
The yellow highlights, I think, were things that I needed. featured
Yeah,
on,
no,
so
well,
this
yeah,
is
well,
more-
this is not like a final, this is just like a food for thought. We'll have this, I'm gonna put this on our next meeting for us to review it and put anything
Yeah,
else,
and
yeah.
then I would just, I guess, I'm asking for input on when do you think a good target date is to get it distributed?
Okay.
Because like I said, we want it out before the end of the year,
Yeah,
and our next meeting is December 8th.
yeah. Maybe we review it at the next meeting and then like it's a quick turnaround after,
Okay.
if it's mostly
And
up to
I'll
date,
have-
or, and if anyone reviews this, maybe that's our homework. Look it over if you see any layering, something missing, or,
Yeah, and I'll have the documents that I'm working on able hopefully to figure out how to share it on the screen. So we can see.
okay. So we haven't gotten the email yet of like, send us your final report, so that has not come out yet.
No, we haven't gotten that yet.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you, Lisa. That's really exciting. You are moving along. Is there any timeline? So when is the when is the actual FIFA event next year? Right?
It starts in June of
June of
26. There, the
26, okay.
draw, where teams will be playing is, I believe, December 5th.
Okay,
So I would assume that we would hear shortly
Okay.
after that.
all right.
Everything has been like.
Okay.
wishy-washy.
Just curious for timing
We're
of
just
all the
going with
things.
flow.
Okay, all right. So that might end up at the same time as, all the other crazy things, of course. Okay, cool. I know it keeps getting pushed, so I want to at least just start the conversation tonight of considerations for next projects, continued goals of CEC. I know this is something that in January, we will do our annual kind of like deep look at everything, change, update anything, but I wanted to just do, these are just ones that Maud had put on a while back that I kept on, because we'll be winding down, like we've gone through the discussing defining artisan stands and that piece. We're still continuing that. That'll probably wind down in January time to make recommendations. So I want to hear just what some examples that Maud had on here was the Belchertown Historic Trail, continuation of work on the Lake Wallace Pocket Park, Viewfinders, the annual sculpture trail. So just thoughts on any type of project outside of kind of the business marketing plan or outside of the more planny type things that we as the committee would consider looking at assisting in town, that would fit within kind of our realm, because we will be hitting grant season soon too. So now's the time to start kind of thinking about any grants or anything that we would be interested in looking at for next year. Yeah. So open for discussion.
Would it make sense for us to, at least, I'm thinking about Quabbin Days, for us to like align, was Quabbin Days, or at least, to be on the email list so we can promote things that are happening.
Hmm.
So,
Okay. Do you know, are they doing it in October again? Do you know if they
I
decided the
think-
same time of year every year?
I can check with Ed.
When he gave the presented to the select board, I thought he had said that it was gonna be annual. in
Like a
October.
designated, okay.
Leaf peepers,
Yeah.
it seems like a good time of
Yeah.
year.
He was pretty specific about it being that weekend of
Okay.
Indigenous
Yeah.
Peoples' Day
All right,
Yeah.
that makes sense. Okay.
for this year, so.
Yeah.
I'll double check.
Oh, that'll make sense, and that'll just help because we'll know kind of the cadence.
I'd love to see the pocket park activated. a little
Agreed.
bit.
Agreed. I want color on those posts.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Some mural situation.
Yeah, and just so you guys know, Mel had reached out to Britt and thinking maybe we'd get Britt to be interested. Britt had no interest in it at all.
Hmm.
She was like, "Oh, you can just use paint." We were like, "Thanks, Britt. That's not imaginative at all."
Well, Lori St. Pierre had done a peace polls.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
For the garden.
For the
Yeah.
garden, those would be
That would be cool.
great peace polls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we might be able to
Yeah.
get
Yeah.
interested.
It needs shade.
Yeah.
Do some type of
Yeah,
artistic shade.
There's some really cool shade stuff out now. Yeah.
It's just like camouflage blind, it's like full of holes and stuff. Like, just get a really big one and throw it over the top.
So maybe
Yep.
that could be an art project that we
It could be.
either create a community
Yeah.
thought around it, or we find a grant to find somebody to put their artistic spin on it.
Yarn bomber.
Yarn
Yeah.
bomb. I need to fix the yarn bomb at the library. I saw it. I went by the, I was like, it looks sad. I have a whole bunch to add to it that I keep forgetting to bring. Okay, I like that. So definitely, so something with the pocket park that could be an art driven.
Are there any other walls we can throw some murals up?
We're
So many.
sitting in a building with a lot of blank walls on the outside, just saying.
You
Yeah.
know the idea about the rec department,
Hmm.
inside the rec department.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, inside we could do too.
Because there are some murals in there, right?
I think it's Kate Black's still there from when my graduating class. I don't know, is the big dragon
the one?
still near the
Yeah.
bathrooms?
No, they just repainted.
Oh.
They repainted, but April's thing is still up there.
That is a thing. So when I was a kid, that was how they got murals in the rec center. It was student murals in the rec center before. It was all student murals. I know somebody I graduated with did one. Yeah.
The water tower we talked about a while
I
ago.
want to do the
Yeah,
water tower.
yeah.
So if this committee
Yeah.
could get a mural on the water tower, like,
Want to know what I was thinking?
could we?
You know what I was thinking would be something real, and I asked,
Yeah.
I did multiple, like, while I was at meetings or other things. So, you know, like Granby, all the businesses and schools and stuff have their, you know, the dinosaurs that they
Yeah.
painted. West Springfield has the terriers,
the
Chicopee has
lions.
C5s.
Or the
Yeah,
tigers.
If you've
Yeah.
ever seen, you know,
Yeah.
them being out there. So I just
What's
started
ours?
asking people,
What would Belchertown?
what would Belchertown be? Now
Ooh,
just
that
think
could
about
be
that.
fun.
What would Belchertown be? And so we had, you know, some people who, you know, and I do, believe me, all those years I spent with it, I get it. We made carriages. We were
I
awesome.
know, but
But nobody's gonna
Oh,
come
no.
to Belchertown and say, oh, they make carriages here? I don't think so.
carriage on every
So like
corner.
pick something else.
Also,
You could do a giant trout.
It's hard to make a
Well, you know, we
cartoon
could,
carriage.
cows have come in.
Cows.
Cows, people said, well, how about a cow?
Chickens.
Well, we don't have the dairy farms we
Yeah,
had, you know,
yeah.
we have some
We have a
beef,
lot of chickens.
you know, farms, we've got chickens. We had thought, now, so the natural progression of this is what I was talking about. The C5s out in front of businesses, the
Yeah.
dinosaurs, you know, in other communities. So that a business or a group, a nonprofit would sponsor them and like paint their own, like whatever
Yeah.
it is, you
Yeah,
design your
yeah.
own. So I was just, and I kept my powder dry. I really kept my powder dry because my brain was going in one direction. And one of the things we had thought about was like giving a blank of the stained glass windows, the library, because we had talked a lot about that. It would be fun to everybody paint their own version of a stained glass window, do whatever they want. But, you know, we're basically talking about, yeah, it's a window. They're beautiful, they're nice. But what would you come to Belchertown and say, Belchertown? Well, I'm gonna tell you, the thing that's most visible for miles and miles and miles is our water
Oh,
tower.
geez, the mini water
And I
towers.
was just imagining all these little, you know,
Water
water
towers.
towers,
Water
you know,
towers.
hopefully not all in John Deere green, but you know,
Oh, gosh.
just-
It's like the
The water
Oriole.
tower.
I was thinking about the Oriole. I
The
know it's tied to our
Oriole, yeah.
And
sports,
the
but
Oriole
the
is tied to
Oriole.
school sports.
But
yes.
it's still, but it is I always think about that.
And, you know, when I
Peony, the
could,
strawberries,
Yeah.
you know,
Pansy.
pansy, sorry,
Yeah.
pansy, I'm sorry, Lawrence, I'm sorry, pansy, not the
Pansy.
peony, the
The
pansy,
the
strawberries.
too. No, the strawberries, they were different.
That
Well,
might
the
be a
giant
really
lily
fun
pads, those
project
were
for us to
something
try
else
to
up there,
do.
too.
Oh.
You could get grant money for that.
Fancy Park.
Yeah, the fancy
Yeah.
park.
There's a grant for that.
Yeah, yeah.
There is, yeah, there is.
Yeah.
I know. Graffiti Jam was a BCC thing, and then BCA helped BCC with it, and then it disappeared because Audrey is no longer on BCC, and Audrey was the start of it.
Mm.
I loved Graffiti Jam. It was a lot of fun. It's a hands-on event, so that's something to consider. It is a hands-on event. You do have to physically be there for Graffiti Jam, but
Listen, the reason I was
Yeah.
going in that other direction is
yeah.
because any business, any
Yeah,
person,
could
any
do that.
place could take place, and it's on their own, really. And then it becomes like a little map or something where to find, you know, whatever it is that you choose. But I went to the water tower.
Mm-hmm.
But a few people said the Quabbin Tower, which is actually not in Belchertown.
That's not in Belchertown.
So
Yeah.
it's like, and I point that out all the time. Yep, Quabbin's, the entrance is in Belchertown,
you
but
know, like,
not much else.
yeah, it
Yeah.
sounds like a
So,
community-driven art
But
project.
just thinking about, in our
What would
town,
win?
if you had to pick a physical
Yeah,
thing in this town that represents us, what would it be?
you could announce the winner at the fair, and then the unveiling
Well,
could be at the fair.
That's a good segue into something I wanted to mention, because you brought up historic trails. Did you talk about the Cold Spring thing?
Not yet,
Oh,
not
okay.
yet. So we were talking at the historical commission meeting. Do you want to?
Well, I'm gonna throw out that there's movement to do next year, a thing at the Cold Spring,
Yeah.
which is, this little body of water
Yeah,
where all the
where-
horses came up and.
Well, so the,
Where
drank
is the
water
actual
before
Cold Spring?
Belchertown got its name. It was on the Bay Path, as you can see on that
Near-
sign up there. They got an S on the end of Cold Springs on that sign. But it's called the Cold Spring, and the BHA and some people are pushing to have a little parking area, to have a little stone, working with UMass.
so we were gonna
And
talk to
town.
UMass.
Okay.
Because it's on UMass property.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
that's,
Oh, it's
Cold-
near the orchard area?
that's our
Yes.
Belchertown
Okay.
Cold
All right.
Spring, right?
Yes.
One spring.
It's
Well,
on
I've
hold.
never actually been to it. That would be great if we had it like
Yeah.
our own little like
Yeah.
I'm thinking the Rock in Boston, like the
Yeah.
Plymouth Rock. We have our
Right.
own little like caged around
Cold
like
Spring.
Cold
yeah.
Spring. You have the little fence and you go up and you go, that's it.
So you don't fall in. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know how they'll do that.
So
Yeah.
right now, we don't have any sign there. We don't really,
Okay.
there's not
I've-
really any
I've
way
grown
to
up here
identify
since
it.
I was,
Yeah.
and I
The
had
old-
no idea
The
where
old
it
sign
is.
is gone.
It's gone.
Yeah.
They
Okay.
have it at the BHA though.
Right,
Yes.
They preserved it, it's just not up.
yeah.
Yeah, but there
Oh.
was a sign right there on the road. You can still just step right off the road and see, the Cold Spring is farther north, but just on the side of the road, you can see the water from the
Yeah.
Cold Spring in a little pool. It's not the source of the Cold Spring, but,
Yeah.
it's covered with,
Huh.
it's very dilapidated. Anyway,
Okay.
I could see something happening with that possibly. They're
Yeah.
looking
That's
at
fun.
getting Aaron Saunders,
Yeah.
I think.
This was brought up at the Historic Commission meeting. Jill, I don't think you were there. Michael, I don't think you were there either.
This is what we said.
Yeah, the one we weren't there was probably brought up, yeah.
Yeah, they brought it up because they wanted to do wayfinding at some of the historical points. There were like 3 that they identified, and one of them was the Cold Spring.
Yes.
Who's that, the BHA?
It was Alex. Alex and Alex.
Oh, Alex, oh,
Yeah.
okay, what were the
Alex
other
and
two?
Alex.
That's interesting, yeah.
So, out of curiosity's sake,
Yeah.
having, misheard clearly, but with Doris and stuff,
Yeah,
about
yeah.
the Cold Spring ending up being a usage kind of thing from Coles, who originally owned like the land. So it was Coles Spring.
Yeah, that,
And it clips, and this was Doris.
yeah.
I did a
heard
lot
that
of
they're
digging
sort
back
of-
in the day.
They're sort of not pushing that right now because I don't think there's any primary sources. If you've got one, let us know.
Other than
Of the
Doris.
Coles property being there or of an actual Coles.
Well, it was just the whole area was, they owned.
I looked
Well-
through it when I was writing the Yankee pitch
Right.
article, and I didn't
You
find
couldn't find any
anything.
No.
primary sources.
No.
Yeah.
Stebbins, yes,
Yes.
they were the owners of that land.
Yeah.
Of that land, yeah, but I
Yeah.
think it was like, don't forget, we were like going past through to get
Yeah,
to the sawmill, which was
Yes.
Coles.
oh, sure.
You know,
I mean,
and everything, that's pretty much what it was
Which sawmill are you talking about?
when the North Amherst.
The one, okay. So Doris, I think, or someone had
Right.
started this, it was a guy, there was some guy named Coles that
Yes.
came upon it. That was it, that's the story. And it was then called Coles, and then it morphed into Coles.
Right.
It's a story until we find primary,
So-
I mean, that
But
was-
we don't have any primary
I mean,
sources for
Yeah,
that.
primary
Unless-
source would be great.
If
That's what I
UMass
meant,
wants
right.
to like pay money and do it, great. I'm sure there's a couple grants. The mock grant that we just got, that's the type of thing that this
Yeah,
mock grant
that'd
would
be
go
great.
for. It has matching, you have to match and things like that, but that would
I'll
be,
bring it
that would
back.
fit within our tourism. Granted, you're getting history buffs and things like that going, but it's still tourism.
Sure.
Yes,
I
that's
think
still
it is.
something.
And I
Yeah.
think it's also economic development.
Oh, it
You
is,
can almost
yeah.
make a
You
case for
you're highlighting key areas in your
a
town.
narrative.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're highlighting your
Narrative.
narrative, your story. Yeah, so that's neat. Oh, that's fun. I grew up here and I have no idea where it is. Okay. And that question about is the Belchertown Historic Trail still kind of something that's getting floated around? I know
Yes.
that's like the one
Mhm.
uptown into down. Okay,
Yeah, Jerry is unfortunately very sick. He was
Okay,
working with
yeah.
Maud for a little bit. He is very sick.
okay,
Had to step back a little bit, but it's still there. It's still being talked about.
okay. So we'll
And
still
we'll-
kind of leave
Is
it
that
in
the big
the,
5-mile loop?
Or is it,
Yeah.
I think it is.
Oh, it is?
I think it, yeah,
Yeah. So-
Yeah. we'll get you caught up to speed,
Okay,
but that was a little bit before your,
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so that's still kind of just like in the works when it comes out, it's so how can help, all of that. I know if
I'm
you,
just, I'm looking at the last page.
Oh,
We're
yeah,
still
what
looking
Maude did
ahead.
not put
Are
looking
there any
ahead
of those
things, yeah.
things that would be specific? for the-
Viewfinder, I know is like, it's this rolling wheel now. So is that, are you shaping up okay as a library right now for Viewfinder? What kind of level of support we need coming up for the next Viewfinder season?
I would say we would need our subcommittee.
Yeah.
The subcommittee's still willing
The
to.
subcommittee again?
Yeah.
Okay. When the text, that was one that I wasn't very connected with when it was going before. What's kind of the timing for Viewfinder for kind of subcommittee and everything, would you say?
I would say maybe we'd start at the new year and,
Yeah.
you know, just get stuff rolled out. Are there funds to be able to do that endpoint of the printing and things? Printing the photographs and the cards? Because there's no grant funding this year.
There's no room money this
Okay.
year. I think we can still do the printing of the photographs. I don't know about the postcards and all
That's
that,
okay.
but yeah, I think we can still do that. We're working with Ed, who does a lot of the teaching, is trying to get us to have a form on the website so that so that we don't have to pay job for them.
Okay.
So I
What
think
kind of
that's-
funds are needed?
I think the printing is like $500 to $800.
Yeah.
Could you get like sponsorships for that or no?
I have a thought. I'm not gonna say it in the public meeting, but we can talk about it afterwards.
Okay.
Are you still looking for project ideas? Because I sent Lisa a list, but I can say them out loud.
Is that what you were, yeah?
I mean, they're all the same things that we've done
many?
before, but it's like Art Week. We could resurrect Art Week and have graffiti jam as part of Art Week.
Capacity.
It's capacity with Art Week.
No, I know. I'm just spouting ideas.
Partnering with BCC, yes.
Yeah.
Belchertown needs an Art Week again.
Yeah. Trash Gala 2.0, Dwight Days.
the trash gala was fun. I don't know if you guys saw that.
So much fun.
We painted the transfer station containers and then to unveil them, had a trash gala where we made
It was a lot
outfits
of
out of
fun.
trash.
It
How
was
All
many,
of them.
how many attended the trash
We
gala?
probably had like, I'd say 40 to 50. Yeah.
Which-
It wasn't nothing. It was
Yeah.
like people came. It was,
Well, and
yeah.
especially the timing of it.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it was like that,
A
catching
random,
people
yeah.
on Howard Street, just catching people going back.
It was, the murals still look beautiful too.
Yeah.
They
They
still
look
look
gorgeous.
amazing.
But if you did like an Art Week, you could sort of roll some of these
Yeah.
small scale programs into the same week. You could do like the upscale artist costume thing, like what was it called?
Project
Right.
Wonder.
Yeah, you could do that.
Right.
Trash fashion.
Yeah.
The high school.
Fashion.
Project
Yeah.
Runway. The art teacher always did Project Runway with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways,
We still gotta do that.
Okay.
more sculptures.
I know.
Yeah.
We'd be lucky to do what's on this list.
I know.
Yeah.
These are all ideas. It's just our running idea, like get our running ideas, kind of pieces of how we can.
We still have the ham radio tower pieces, right?
Yeah, we do still, I don't know where Donnie put them, but there are still, Donnie has pieces from the radio tower that came
Yeah.
down. working
And
with
the
DPW.
concept,
Yeah,
an idea to, Donnie worked
It's
up
kind
a
of a-
concept with
Kind of a
a,
starbursty
Yeah.
kind of idea.
yeah,
And he and I were talking about that. But yeah, until there's
yeah. it's-
funding for it.
Yeah,
He can't-
but that would be
he's-
what project
he's-
we should do.
Right.
Fund, yeah.
Yeah.
funding.
If there's an additional sculpture that goes in, in
Okay.
that sort of the Lake Wallace sculpture park.
Yeah.
This says ongoing assessment of wayfinding priorities on this list. I know Doug really took over wayfinding right now. That's in DPW and Doug's hands right now. Since that project fully went done, Fall Fest will happen again, but Brian, myself, however, CEC, Louise, when we get to that point, there will be another Fall Fest happening. Where might Brian and I separately to this, want to talk with Quabbin days, and we talk about Quabbin because do a run at, who doesn't want to like do a fun run event at Quabbin? That would
Quabbin,
be
yeah.
really cool. Yeah, do another kind of fundraising style event at Quabbin, but that's like a, yeah. Ships. There will be, so the Belchertown did also get the comprehensive zoning and bylaw revision and mapping grant, so I'm sure they'll tap into us as stakeholders at some point during that.
Especially about the.
Yeah.
sheds.
So they'll be
And signage.
tapping in as stakeholders on that. We're not going to be running any of that, but we'll be, I'm, as part of the community, tapped in with that whole
And
process.
we'll make the
Yeah.
formal recommendation
Yeah, for
that
pieces
they
of this. Okay.
adopt it.
Are there any other kind of things that you want to have added to, like, I'm gonna get these in a full list that we can see and kind of like, oh, this one. Is there anything else like, paper style, planning style? We did a lot of projects right now. We have our business marketing plan that'll be happening.
I think this might be a good, like, follow-up, like an
Yeah.
ongoing,
Yeah.
like.
Yeah. Yeah.
We need a
This was a
wall.
lot. This was a
No, we
good, yeah,
need-
we do.
we
We'll
need a
just bring in a
wall.
board every single time with a couple darts. This one.
Throw stuff at it.
Oh, I
We
like
need
that
a wall.
method. I like that chaos method.
Just occurred to me, what about the 250th birthday party?
Exactly.
Is that still happening? Is that still going? Are we still in that realm? I know there were a bunch of grants and those
Next
grants are
year
already
is the-
done.
Is the big.
Cause I know all the
July
grant,
4th.
all the
Next year.
grant funding is closed to
Yeah,
support
yeah,
those
no, I don't
projects.
think we can get any
Yeah.
grants out of it.
I feel like that would be a stone house and commit, like, where would that be? I mean, we could support, however, yeah, promoting and all that,
I don't know
but
what's
yeah.
going on. It's happening elsewhere.
Yes, no, a lot of places are,
country.
yeah.
Well, let
You
me
know,
let me just say this from an experiential point of view. So 1999, when I got tapped, was the chair of the Belchertown's first night committee. It's okay, let's have a first night committee. Let's do something. We're 1999, New Year's Eve, going into the 2000. Let's do something here. Oh, let's form a committee. Selectmen made a committee. I ended up being the chair, and it's like, okay, you have no budget at all,
Yeah.
right? You're having a party and there's no RSVPs, so you have no idea
Right.
who's coming, who's showing up, what anybody's doing.
Yeah.
And as the committee, we focused on one thing and one thing only. And then we pulled in all the groups. But our thing was, is we wanted to raise enough money to, and have the holiday lighting. We had the first ones, we had it lit in time, for the first night. We had those first stars. That's what we bought, all of them. Let's see that plaque over there, the stars. Were businesses who bought entire stars and poles and people in town. But it was, we tapped into the Boy Scouts who were, did hot chocolate. We did movies in the old town hall. Our firemen love bonfires, so we had the big bonfire. We brought the ice skating rink back that year. And then they brought it back for several years after that, I know it's July, which is great. No bother doing that. But even just making the common be a giant place for you to bring your own picnic to, because there were no food trucks. Right. Then, 1999, there were no food trucks or anything else happening. The people showed up. We had pony rides, we had carriage rides, we had a DJ there. Just by putting the call out, let's have a giant birthday party on the common, like, what does your group want to do? What does your group want to do? And they did it. It happened.
Yeah.
And it was just a huge celebration. I mean, if that's something we want to pursue or just, I won't be here, but as far as 4th of July in town, I mean, we don't have the fireworks that other communities do.
Yeah.
And everything.
So
Right.
It can happen.
they can have it. First of all, since 1999, you can get an ice rink that's fake ice.
Yes,
Yeah.
And you can use real ice skates and do that.
in July, I skated in
In
July.
July,
Oh,
it would be
that'd
like
be
fun.
awesome.
When we first moved here, we stayed in Rockport and rented while we were looking for where we wanted to live. And they did something on New Year's Eve,
Mhm.
which similar small town, no budget, where they had students design buttons and the button was the winner and it was $20 a button and it was all access. If you had a button on, small businesses would open up and each small business would run some sort of an event or a sales thing. You could get onto the common with your little button, but it makes some money for the town and it could pay for.
We had buttons too, from the Stone
Yeah.
Age to the Space Age.
Mhm.
But something like, they charged $20 a person, and it was packed down there. I mean, all the businesses had people, they had different local bands or musicians that would offer free concerts, a concert with the button. Got some money. for
It
the
was,
town.
I mean, people came forward. They
Yeah.
liked the idea of having a party and they made it.
Yeah, we can add it to, or it's partnering with BCC to see if it's something that makes sense with Winter Light Night or kind of a partnership with their food truck, like something that's in place, absolutely, like something that can be a
It's our
partnership with stuff
250th
going
the whole
on, yeah.
year.
Oh, you're talking about for the
The whole
250th
year,
specific, I got
absolutely.
you.
And then there's July
I got
4th
lost.
And then there's July
But
4th.
I just wanted to throw it out there to
Yeah.
see if anybody's heard of any.
Gotcha,
planning
gotcha.
on some of
I
the
have not.
I've not heard.
I had way back, I had forwarded a few grants that I knew I didn't have capacity for, but I don't think they went anywhere, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's something just to ask around with the towns. It could be a call out to the towns to see if anybody's thinking about doing that. Because we're getting to 7:15 and I want to be conscious of time. I just want to do a quick, because I know, I asked everyone and I know, I'm sorry, I sent you mine today. If everyone was able to send at least some preliminary definitions to Cheryl about farm stands, artisan stands, kind of, and what
And what?
you
So
have
we
garnered
did-
from some of that.
Sarah said
Yeah.
some, I have my initial things
Yeah.
that I first brought with a little addition to. Lauren sent me some and Louise sent some ideas. So I made 5 copies. So I don't know if
I can share over, yeah.
you want to share over there. No, that's all.
Oh,
It's
that's
a packet.
all one,
Okay.
okay.
Here,
Yeah,
we'll
that's
share.
Louise.
Yeah, we'll share down here.
we can share. I don't. What are you talking about it? So the first one that said artisan stand is right on the front. These are from Sarah. The next one is some of what I distributed before or talked about before. It's just written down and then a little more detail pulled down below from remember I told you that farmers markets have a description of artisans and what qualifies as an artisan in order to get into the farmers market. So there's a definition there. And then Louise and Lauren's comments there. I will say, with the town, let me just preface this. We've gotten the grant.
Yep.
So this is something that will be looked at.
Yep.
And my personal opinion is the simpler we keep our recommendation and our description, the better.
Mhm.
I did pay every bit of research I did, which included, you know how they have the urban art districts, and so I really looked into rural art, district, which would much more difficult, without question on our part. The sheds would help with that. As far as just like our farm stand map, ending up having a directory to all the artists, artisans, supporters, whatever in town. But the things that they said to stay away from in our definition are, we're defining what's inside the shed.
Mhm.
I guess that's basically what it came down to universally, not their structure.
Mhm.
Because that is, when you talk about aesthetics, different strokes, different folks. That's just the way that goes on. One thing that somebody thinks is gorgeous, another person thinks is the tackiest thing they've ever seen. Guaranteed one of the neighbors is gonna think it's tacky, but still, in a community. But it's focusing on, again, allowing them the freedoms, but to not focus on the size, because our own town structural bylaws will determine what's needed with regard to the size. So as long as it's
Yeah.
kept under,
Yeah.
I think 200 square feet,
Yeah,
right?
that keeps you under certain.
That
zoning
keeps them under
restrictions.
requiring
Yeah.
any kind of a building permit for it. Again, in my conversation with ShedWorks, sheds are indeed portable, they're removable structures, unless somebody's got them hardwired, got electricity, running water, whatever, they want to do with their particular thing, they're gonna need a building permit for that, so that's on them to that degree. In referencing some of the stuff, even going through what Sarah had written about the resale, I think that the community, especially they're gone, but like Doug and Paul and stuff were like trying to stay away from anything resale. Just my personal thing was I want to avoid the perpetual tag sales and all of the antique quote unquote shops that would pop up with somebody doing reselling. But I think that the town is more concerned about retail shops. And if you're selling stuff that someone else made and you're getting paid to sell, you're getting a commission of or a piece of or whatever in your shop, that's great. And it helps cover the cost, but it's a retail shop and there are businesses that pay taxes on their business and are able, that's what they do. And it feels, I mean, when I met with Doug and Paul, they were particularly not wanting that. I don't know how it's handled. Sarah, were you able to? And no is a perfectly acceptable answer and a complete sentence. I love that. Talk about that mermaid and mirror, like Munson. Okay.
No.
So just to find out how they're handling it, because we're handling it by like this, by saying we don't see anything, it doesn't exist. We can see it happening, but we're not acknowledging it's happening.
I do know that, that we do have a few and there's some that have closed down now that did not, it's essentially just to house, and this is how a lot of artisan and artist stands will work in communities when I was doing research, is it doesn't, there's no commission or anything, it's just literally another spot to house another artisan's work, and that's where you end up seeing percentages, but that goes deeper, that's why it's like that's why I think when they get into the full bylaw revision of this, the town needs to take on the full definition to protect people on bringing in the groups of saying, okay, here's recommendations and here's what we need from you to support it. Because anything that I found in that business is you're allowing another artisan who doesn't have the means or the mode to do it on their property to just take space without any of the actual retail piece where you're like getting the commissioner back and forth. I know that a few places, a couple were shut down, a couple closed due to their business closing. That was their model because I was going to use them. And it was, there's laws, and I don't know if it was a larger mass one. There was a regulation that, I think it might've been out of Boston or somewhere, that put into their more detailed bylaws on property stands of a percentage of it, and it still has to be handmade, it has to be crafted locally, it has to still be like something, so there has to be a reason. But it's hard when you go into bylaws because it's like you want to regulate to a point, so you put in these details, but you also don't want to, in prohibiting certain things, end up now all of a sudden over regulating and you're prohibiting sales of things. So it's yeah. So for us, just a definition, we wouldn't necessarily need to do that. We're just defining, oh, an art, what is an artist, this artist stand or artisan stand? Yeah. But yeah, that part's tough. But the deeper advocacy side or the deeper bylaw side where you do really need to, if you're going to do a true bylaw, you really do need to get into size regulations and all that. And for our bylaws, what prohibits, which I put in recommendations, not definition, what prohibits in our bylaws, which I know you know from being in the real estate business, is the frontage. That's one of the number one things that prohibits artisans right now from legally putting stands on the front of their property.
Because the setbacks.
We have setbacks and we
The
have a
setbacks.
certain
The setbacks
frontage.
are currently 40
Yeah.
feet.
Yeah.
And which would,
Who's gonna do 40 for
Who's gonna
40?
do 40
Where-
feet?
Oh, come on down the road, come to the backyard, yeah.
I think it's 10
Like,
feet from
yeah,
your side
Sides,
neighbors
10
as
feet
well.
from the side.
But it's the setback from
Yeah.
the road that is prohibitive. And right now, we're looking the other way.
Yeah.
So the town is not protected, neither is the artist.
Yeah.
You
So
know,
I think if we're just narrowing us to like really micro, just say a definition for now, then that wouldn't be part of it. It would just be the simplified of, what do you sell in an artisan stand? What could be allowed and how does it fit with the right to farm bylaws for that? Yeah.
exactly. So we have, I mean, even in just these 4
Yeah.
pieces itself, there's plenty of information,
Mhm.
which, I will happily give you my copy,
Yeah.
and then you can just look through it. And I'll compile all of these and send them out to you guys. And then I just want to say, peruse them, it is almost 7:30, highlight or something you think of, particular interest, and you know how it was, same thing when we did our charge, we're gonna look at defining, which was what Paul and Doug said, define an artisan shed, shack, whatever it is. Structure, could be lean-to. And what it's going to house, and, so we're using craftsman, handmade, a certain percentage, of what there's one barn stand where it says artisans are persons who craft with their own hands and the products they offer for sale at the market. To qualify as an artisan, majority of the tools and equipment used by the crafter to produce the products must require skills. That was, I thought, a key sentence in all of it, is skills, talent, interpersonal, related. But, and then on the last page, items made from kits or mechanically mass produced are not acceptable. Now this is at a farmer's market. These are the rules for becoming an artisan at a farmer's
Yeah.
market. I don't know, did the cricket makers, I don't know where they fit in. We have a lot of them.
I mean, it is an art, it is craft.
It's a skill.
It's a skill. That's a
You
skill.
have to have a
I
skill.
have had a cricket. It does take skill to use the cricket. It really does.
It is a skill, and there are a lot of them.
Yeah.
But, they're buying
Yeah.
these
Yep.
and putting their vinyl design on them. And shirts and, yours, look at how nice yours are.
Yeah.
But, what are anybody else's, I know I just, passed it all out to you.
One of the things that I pulled up, and it was about a farm stand from NOFA in Vermont, that really jumped out at me was this idea that we acknowledge the need for farm stands. So again, it's just about farm stands to offer customers a convenient and consistent shopping experience, as well as incorporate a diverse array of products in order to be a profitable business and meet consumer demands.
Yeah.
So I thought that was thoughtful, that idea that
To incorporate that.
right, that idea that to just be selling your own things is not necessarily something that would make a farm stand, artisan shed, sustainable. And then I ran across that term of roadside craft stand.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's nice.
Which, gets away from shed. it doesn't. Yeah, you know, so I thought that was worth
Yeah.
thinking about, just for the phrasing of it.
Yeah.
But I like what you, how you
Let's try to be on the advocacy side, like this is
Yeah.
why we're doing it.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
for those who know a lot more about how bylaws are created and figure out how then you describe that in those terms.
And that,
was great.
of course, that is what we'll be using primarily. It was wonderful too with the select board to just say, this is why we're doing this. This is why we're recommending this. And, you know, we need to make a way for people to do it on their own, since there isn't anything existing that can help them. And along with that, I believe will spur, and again, we get to that proof of concepts and what the needs are for something, and maybe, just maybe, you know, we'll see something like that down the road with a Berkshire or a whatever. I'm hoping UMass goes for Tagil.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Maybe. We'll see. Okay. And I know we were gonna have a couple questions, and I know Lauren shared a couple very simple questions. Do you think it would be possible if we share Lauren's questions, and if there's one more question, or if that's enough, to then each of us take a few, I know we had put the big thought of, oh, let's attend meetings, and then it's like, we know all of our lives are very busy, but if we have people that we are connected to, and if we each could commit to reaching out to a few of those people to get their intake on those questions, if that might help. And then I'll put this on the first segment of our next meeting, so it's the top of the list. And that way we finish it next meeting in preparation for then talking with our artisans in January.
Yeah.
Would that sound good?
So we're asking to take those questions or some other ones like it and ask people we know and bring back the response.
If that sounds like something that would work, since we each have connections to different forms of artists or artisans. Okay, I know that I tend to live more in the food artisan world a lot, and I'm very connected to the farmers market artisan world. So if I am happy to take those connections and kind of piece through some of the farmers market attendees to see how this relates to them, I can take on that.
And if the proof of concept
Yep.
thing works out with Shedworth,
We would have a
could-
huge push.
We could
Yeah.
certainly use a food
Yeah.
seller there too.
Yeah, I already know a couple that I would say would 100% do
I'm
that.
just like, you know, I'm thinking, you know, like the food or,
Yeah.
and the wreaths, make, you know, just something.
You need food. You need food to get people to go.
Yeah.
You have to have a food staple to get people to go get their food, and then they shop for art while they're eating their food.
And I'm all for allowing like Boy Scouts to set up
Yeah.
a hot chocolate, you know, about,
okay.
you know, doing the other things. I find out about a little propane
So-
fire pit.
Yeah.
I will commit to taking on to reaching out to the chunk of the artisan farmers market
the
vendors that I
questions
know, the
there,
cottage
yeah.
baker and artisan farmers market.
And I'll
people.
reach out to my artisan
Okay,
friends, you know, that we
Yeah.
do the pop-ups and other shows and everything together. And, I'm happy to make a connection with Common Art, but does anybody already have one in the art field? No? I'll go
I do.
for it. You do?
I mean, the library has QA exhibits for him to.
That's right, you do. Well, we can do that together if you want. I'm happy to do that, or just reach out with the questions that they have, tell them what we're doing, you know, how would
Yeah.
they like.
Well, that would give me someone to reach out to, because I was like, I don't know any artisans.
That's perfect.
So, yeah,
Because there's plenty of artists,
yeah. I can do
artists
QA.
and artisans, distinctly different, because I was, you know.
Yeah.
Art
Yeah.
is not just, you know,
No.
we've got music,
So
we've got
much.
writing, we, you know. There's so many poets and authors and everything else.
Just made
That
me
might
think
be,
of, Jordan.
Yeah, yeah.
Jordan and not Cheryl, you're Cheryl. Jordan and their name is going out of my brain. Justine. what
It's kind of
people-
like included in the advocacy piece there, that,
Yeah.
the question about what are you doing this for? You know, is
Yeah.
it just for sell your work, share your process, or simply make your art more visible?
Yeah.
And some people just want to like, I do cool stuff, and I just want to put it out in front of my house, and
Yeah.
if people like it, and they want to pay a few bucks for
Yeah.
it, great, but I just kind of want to, I make this stuff.
Put
I'm proud of
something
it. I
there.
want to show people that I make it.
And that's something I put in for considerations that they should consider, because it could just be used as like a little gallery on your front lawn. Like,
It's like a lending library.
how
kind of
cool
thing.
would
You
that
go by
be?
and just grab a book or something. It's
how
like,
cool for our
absolutely.
arts community would that be to just
Right.
like have like some little galleries on people's, like you could do a gallery tour and it's
Yeah.
just people's art stands on their
Right.
front yards.
Right.
Yeah.
Right,
I approve of that message.
yeah. It's accurate.
But writing it down here, gallery tour.
They did that tiny, I'm not suggesting we do this. I'm just saying a thing that I've seen, that they did that tiny art thing on the rail trail.
Mm.
They got a grant for that also.
Okay. So Cindy's gonna touch base with QAA, you have artisan friends, I can touch base with farmers markets.
And did you want me to compile all of this electronically and just send it to you guys in an email?
Mhm.
And then you can
That would be
randomly,
great.
I just think it's easier to
Yeah,
cut and paste
thank you.
things out of there and
thank
then
you.
send a final
Yeah, and then that'll,
paragraph
and then
definition.
I'll-
And then we'll
yeah.
narrow them.
Yeah,
I'll-
it's synthesized.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'll put this as the first thing on our list. This is our homework. This will be the first thing on our list and we'll get through and come out of it with a good definition to then present to the actual community it affects.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay, awesome.
And
I'll
on
add a
here
date
is
in
our
January.
entire committee's personal
I think
email
we were saying the
addresses.
January meeting.
Okay, right.
Yeah,
Right.
I think we were saying at the January meeting, we would
So
invite the
please.
artists. Yeah,
Yeah, we all get enough spam, so.
beautiful. Okay. So, I think we covered next meeting agenda request quite well.
Uh-huh.
I need to actually like
Right.
make sure I only put one or two. So next meeting will essentially be going through this and we'll be going through our 2025 report next meeting. Next meeting date is 12/8/2025 at 5:45 PM. Should be in here unless I hear otherwise. Can I get a motion to adjourn? Right? Do I need a motion? Motion to adjourn? Any
Second.
seconds? The meeting is adjourned at 7:32 PM. Thank you very much, everyone. I always feel like we need a round of applause at the end of these. Yeah.
Maybe
Have a good night.
grab a camera, you
Yeah,
know,
I just heard it once.
take a quick shot of this? Or do you want me to